XRP is going to create millionaires over the next 5 to 10 years. Before you click off and say this guy's crazy, let me let you know what's going on in this video. We're going to hear from Eleanor Terrett about the spot ETFs that are coming up. We're also going to hear from Bennett of Stronghold SHX. He recently had a comment about XRP in South Korea. Then lastly, we're going to talk about the utility of XRP and what it really has to do with things outside of the financial infrastructure that I don't think enough people are aware of, that XRP is not just a financial token. So stick around to find out more. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so XRP making millionaires. You're going to think I'm crazy for saying that, but let me walk you through what's going on, the spot ETFs, the utility that it has, and what other companies are seeing in this technology such as XRP. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Let's hear from Eleanor Terrett and what she had to say about the spot ETF situation. So we'll take a look on your screen. We have Scoop. Canary Funds has filed an updated S1 for its XRP spot ETF, removing the delay amendment that stops registration from going auto-effective and gives the SEC control over timing. This sets Canary's XRP ETF up for a launch date of November 13th, assuming the NASDAQ green lights the 8A filing. Note, the government reopening could affect timing, potentially moving it up if the filing is completed and the SEC is satisfied, or back if staff propose additional comments. However, it's worth noting that the SEC chairman himself seems to be on board with companies taking advantage of the auto-effective method. While not commenting directly on ETF launches, Paul Atkins said yesterday he was pleased to see companies like MapLight using the 20-day statutory waiting period to go public during the shutdown, praising the same legal mechanism Bitwise and Canary used to launch Sol, HBAR, and LTC ETFs this week. So what is important about this post here are several things. We know that the XRP, spot XRP, could be going live because we have already seen this happen through Bitwise and Canary, like they said, with Sol, HBAR, and LTC. So this default has happened, and we've seen that work before. We have the chairman of the SEC encouraging this. So in theory, the government shutdown could be helping crypto more than it could be hurting crypto. Then also, when you hear the filing 8A, that is one of the last forms that the SEC is required to approve before it goes into effect. So we are so close when it looks at Canary Capital going live with the spot XRP as is, and that could go much quicker now that the government is still shut down. They could slip through the cracks and make this official before the government reopens. Then also the target date of November 13th happens to follow perfectly behind Ripple Swell of November 4th and 5th, which is coming up. So all this, again, is lined up perfectly for this to take off. So if you're ready to run out the market and you're tired of crypto and you're tired of all of us content creators trying to push the can down the road, you have to understand how close we truly are. And there are things we just can't foresee, like the government shutting down, like the tariffs happening. There's just so many things that are outside of anybody's control. And it's important to understand this whole market is speculation still. We just have to prove our thesis with the facts that come out. You see how that works? Well, let's keep going. We're going to hear from Evernorth XRP and what they're talking about with their acquisition. So let's look over here from Ashish. He says, one step closer to uniting digital and traditional finance. We're very proud of our team is building at Evernorth XRP. And this comes from Evernorth's X account. It says, big news. Evernorth has signed a bonus combination agreement with Armada Acquisition Corp. 2, which is now trading on NASDAQ under the ticker XRPN. Now you're seeing XRP, just the name XRP itself is hitting Main Street, Wall Street by NASDAQ. Understand how close you are. They are now using XRP by name. And up till now, they would use words like Ripple. They randomly or seldomly would use the word XRP, and now you are seeing mainstream say the word XRP more frequently. They are priming the public to get ready for it. But by the time the public figures it out, it's going to be out of reach because the price is going to change so drastically that they cannot afford to stock up. You have that ability right now, so don't squander it. And that's not financial advice. Do your own research and consult whoever you need to consult. But understand how close we truly are. And if we want to see this from the SEC about the Armada Acquisition Corp and what they're doing, they're changing their name on their ticker from AACI to XRPN. And you'll see that from this filing right here. You'll see on your screen, it says Finding Armada Acquisition Group to an AK current report. This is essentially breaking down saying that, hey, we're changing our ticker from AACI to XRPN. That's going to be live on NASDAQ. The world's going to see that. That's going to give the green light for more investors to come in because they're going to start digging into this a little bit more. And then you want to learn a little bit more about the Armada Acquisition Group. Well, check it out from a post from 2017 from the founder, chairman of the Arrington XRP Capital. Right here, it states that if you look on your screen that the fund is, let me highlight this for everybody so you can see where I am at on the screen. It says the fund is dominated in XRP, which is, as of today, the third or fourth largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. 27 billion investors contribute XRP to the fund, not dollars or other fiat currency. All distributions, fees, etc., will generally be paid in XRP, with some exemptions of LPs desiring different currency distributions. We will invest in a wide variety of cryptocurrency assets related to technology. The primary focus will be on existing tokens. The fund will also invest a portion of its assets in ICOs, as well as more traditional investments such as private equity offerings. Why XRP? Second, XRP developed by Ripple is particularly useful for us. While we don't have a commercial relationship with Ripple, they are not an investor in our fund, for example, we are still able to use their super fast, secure settlement infrastructure as anyone can. This means non-US investors in our fund will have an easier time investing in US and making or investing in us and making redemptions later. No need to rely on ancient fiat methods for cross-border currency transfers that are slow and laden with fees. We will pay our own fees and salaries out in XRP as well. So right here, you're hearing from an investment firm like Arrington Capital. They're going to also use XRP to pay themselves as well. And they believe in it so much that that's going to be their number one holding, which we're seeing more and more of XRP being the number one holding for these major investment firms, right? But this is back in 2017. Keep that in mind. 2017, they have been planning this for a long time. So what else does XRP have as far as utility outside of the financial infrastructure? So we're going to go to Grok here, and I did this just because the simplistic form of listing it. You can go back and validate this. Again, all my resources are always in my description. But let's go through the list and take a look and see what XRP has to offer and who are they working with right now. So let's start off with, look on your screen, the key financial institutions and payment providers. I'm not going to read them all. You can go as I go down, but Santander, of course, SBI Holdings, PNC Bank, American Express, Standard Chartered, and we'll keep going. Bitso, MoneyGram. It's funny, people talk about Western Union, but MoneyGram's already using XRP. Nobody talks about that for some reason, right? And then let's keep on going down. We have Treasury and corporate adopters. We have Vivo Power, Weebus, Trident Digital. Of course, we already about that. Gummy Inc. Let's keep going down and let's look about the different sectors they are working with. So in the different sectors of the economy, they work with real estate tokenization, supply chain finance, telecom, and other. And you can read right there on your screen who they're working with outside of those different companies. Let's keep reading down. And what other business sectors are they adopting XRP? We have banking and payments, remittances and fintech, corporate treasury, healthcare and logistics, real estate, AG tech and clean energy, and gaming tech. So when you look at XRP, you have to understand they are tapped in not just to the financial system, they are tapped into just about every other sector. This token has more utility than just moving money around. They are tied into just about every sector of our economy. And this is all back end stuff that corporations are going to be using. So when you try to get an understanding of what an XRP is and why you're holding this token, this is a power token that's going to power our economy and different facets other than just finance. So understand how big they are. And you're going to see an example of that here in a second when we hear from Scott Bennett from Stronghold when he's talking about XRP. But also I'm going to give you an example right now about XRP working with Amazon. Amazon and XRP are working together, or Ripple, if you will, are working together with their AWS system, which is their cloud system that most companies use. You probably heard a lot about the internet going down recently because AWS failed. That was recent, and that was perfect timing because Ripple and AWS were working together at the same time that all this happened. So that was kind of coincidental that all these platforms went down as they were announcing this partnership, essentially. Okay. So let's read more about this. This is from AWS, their website directly. So they're talking about RippleNet, what they have, X current process, real-time payments, X rapid source on-demand liquidity, X via send global payments with a single integration, AWS Summit sponsorship, you can see there, but RippleNet use cases, and this is what they are using this for. It says e-invoicing, international supply chain payments, global currency account, real-time cash pooling, international bill pay, real-time remittances, and international P2P payments. So a major company like Amazon sees the value in Ripple and XRP. So when you're seeing these big major core seven of our economy, right? When you think about our core economy, it comes down to the big players like Microsoft, Google, NVIDIA, Tesla, all these major tech companies, and Ripple is tied into all these major tech companies. And this is a piece that I think people are missing. So let's wrap it up, and we're going to come to our final topic, which is the topic from Stronghold, Sean Bennett, talking about XRP. I want to play about a 50-second clip. Don't go anywhere because he has a very valid point in this video that I think you should be aware of. 1 second, don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Just got back from Korea with the Stronghold team, and I can't stop thinking about this stat. XRP trading volume in Korea is often double Bitcoin's volume, sometimes triple. I knew this before we went, but seeing it on the ground, watching it happen in real time on exchange screens, talking to traders who treat XRP like their primary position, that feels different. On Upbit and BitHum, their two biggest exchanges, XRP often accounts for over 20% of all trading. Western markets still treat Bitcoin as the default. Korea skipped right past that. This is exactly why we built SHX on Stellar. Same philosophy, fast, global, compliant. The boring stuff that actually makes money move. When a country picks XRP over Bitcoin by these margins, they're telling you something about where finance is headed.
Okay, from Sean Bennett himself, co-founder of Stronghold SHX, talking about the rest of the world is aware that Bitcoin is a thing of the past. It's just a store of value. You're not going to use Bitcoin to operate on. You're going to use something like XRP. And you're seeing that in Korea, where they are now using XRP and holding XRP and investing in XRP at a faster rate than Bitcoin. The rest of the world just hasn't caught up yet. And you can see that being true when you look at Japan and how intertwined they are with Ripple and XRP, and where we're headed as America to do the same thing. We're just waiting for our government to give us the legal clarity to do so. And we are on that doorstep. When that Clarity Act hits, it's game over. Prices will change forever. You will not have an opportunity, in my opinion, to ever buy this asset again at $2.50 or whatever it may be. So take advantage of it while you can, because you're probably going to kick yourself later down the road when this is much higher. 1 year, 2 year, 5 years from now, you're going to look back and say, I had an opportunity. I didn't maximize on that. And when I'm doing these videos, I'm trying to bring that information to you so you can see that bigger macro view so you can set yourself up. Hopefully you found something valuable in this video. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and comment, share with a friend, all that YouTube stuff. I would be very much appreciated if you would. That's all I have for you in this video, but as always, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, become the change you want to see in the world. I'll see you in the next one.